Hey guys, I'm here with Art, DJ Art. That was his gig that we did last weekend. I was doing the tech stuff for the uplighting and worked on the rear fill audio. But this was the DJ. This was his Quinceañera. And he's also the guy who was behind the whole robot costume. He wasn't the guy in it, but he was the guy who borrowed it.
I can't even fit in there, Brian. I cannot fit in that costume. It's not the right size.
Yeah, it's a little tight.
It's a rental. It's a rental.
Oh, you rented it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what happened was the client had a service from Chicago going to come and do this, but he canceled last minute because of a work accident.
Okay.
So she called me and said if I knew anybody else. I didn't, so I just looked up some local Milwaukee DJs and I found the guy who did it. But he's off season right now, so all his dancers were away at college.
Okay.
So he's like, hey, I'll rent you the suit, but you got to find a dancer. And you know me, I immediately think of Rick because every time he goes to a gig with me,
right,
he's out there dancing with people, and he's like the center of attention.
Right.
So I'm like, just add an LED suit to that, and he's gonna be perfect.
So for those of you who don't know Rick is OG here in Milwaukee. I don't know. I must have met Rick 30 years ago when he was working at Camelot Music. I don't know when you met him, but...
with Angelo at ALM.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Rick's been around for a long time. In fact, Rick worked with me at Safe House way back in the old days. I got him in there, so he was doing some alternate stuff down there. So I've known him that long. He was the first guy I ever saw mixed with CDs. And I was like, oh my gosh, you can be mixed with CDs? So he's not just a dancer in a robot costume. He's actually a really good DJ.
He DJs for the Milwaukee Brewers.
Yeah, he does. He's their official DJ. He travels with them and everything, doesn't he?
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, we'll get a dancer. Let's get Rick to do it. He's crazy. He'll do it.
And he did it. And he did perfect. He did great.
What do you think of the reaction from the audience?
So apparently this is a service that people offer quite often. I've never done it before because I'm a one man,
Sure.
service, and basically I knew we can do it. It's just a matter of getting the equipment, and those suits are not cheap. So
right.
I don't want to make that investment.
Right.
The guy I rented it from, he actually wants to try selling me the suit because he wants to get out of that business.
Gotcha.
Basically, the profit margin isn't there because you got to pay somebody to dance.
Mm-hmm.
The costumes are $1,000 to $3,000 depending on which one.
Oh
you
wow.
got.
Okay.
And then you have this big liability because most of the time they're on stilts.
Oh.
And he's had guys get hurt.
Okay.
You fall from 4 to 5 feet, you're done.
Right.
And that's why I asked him for a suit that didn't have stilts.
Uh-huh.
And I think all he did was eliminate a section.
Okay. I thought it looked great like it was.
It was great, yeah. He's got, guns, the fog machine guns. He's got laser gloves.
Oh, wow.
He's got everything. Confetti guns. I mean, they go crazy. And obviously the more you offer, the more it costs. But standard price, I would say, is between $300 to $400 with just a LED robot.
Okay.
You're paying the rental for the suit, you're paying the dancer, and you got to cover things like insurance and things like that.
Right.
So that's the minimum.
I made some observations while we were doing this, and he was out there doing what he was doing. By the way, this obviously was our first time doing anything like this. Your first time doing it. Everybody's first time. Rick's first time in the costume, the whole bit. What I noticed was people watched the robot. It wasn't like he was out there dancing with people. People were watching the robot dance.
What I didn't have was an intro. I just had a countdown from a New Year's Eve thing. I don't know. I just did it on the fly. But these guys that do it, they have a 15-minute intro where they make a big show with smoke and they have the lighting incorporated. Those guys are charging $500 to $800 for this 30-minute show. We didn't have that. We only had a week to prepare. Right. And I spent that week just getting the costume.
Sure.
So my intro was a countdown, and I kind of just told everybody to get on the dance floor, and they didn't. They were just like in awe of Rick, and Rick was pretty much the show for like the first minute.
Right.
And then we started getting people in there, and next thing you know, the floor is packed.
Well, when I think of what this can bring to the table, though, I'm thinking about the bar mitzvahs and the motivators that they bring in, the dancers. Because a lot of these kids who are having bar mitzvahs, they're 13 years old, they're not really dancers. They bring in these,
professionals.
young professional dancers. Maybe they're college students or whatever, but they'll go out, pretty young girls smiling and bringing the kids out on the dance floor to dance with them. It's kind of how I thought the robot could work. as a
I don't know if you
motivator.
saw Rick. You'll probably be seeing it in the footage. But
Yes.
Rick pulling people in to dance, and yeah, he was basically animating them.
Yep.
Encouraging them, and that's.
Yep.
It was like a Disney character almost.
It was.
Kids were like walking, trying to get in front of other kids, trying to get him, his attention. So,
Yeah. I think it's a cool service. I think if you could get into the costume for the right price and avoid the stilt thing,
yeah.
I think you could actually do well with this. And just by saying, especially for, not an issue with Latin crowds, by the way. This is not the same thing. A Jewish kid isn't going to be dancing as quickly as Latin kids are going to be dancing. In fact, I don't think I've ever done a Latin event where there wasn't dancing. Come on, they're going to dance. It's not like they need motivation to dance. But for the little kids, this is a really cool thing for them to look at. And I really think that would be a nice upsell. Say, hey, look, for the little kids, we got the robot. You guys are going to dance, but for the little kids, we've got the robot, and we'll do it for $500-$600 or whatever.
Yep. The other thing we learned, being our first time, was how much effort it takes. You saw Rick. He went in there with all the motivation in the world, and he came out. He was dying.
He came out of the box. He came right out of the chute rather fast.
about 5 minutes before ending time, he's like, "Has it been 45 minutes yet?" I'm like, "No, it's only been 20."
Right. Yeah, he needed to pace himself a little bit. But first time for everybody. It was a lot of fun though, and I think it was cool.
Oh, for sure.
Would you do it again?
So I'm thinking of buying the suit from the guy from the rental service.
Get it for the right price.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, it's one of his lower end ones, and to me that's fine. He's got $3,000 suits, $2,000 suits, and
Sure.
they're more advanced. They have more the multi-diode LEDs.
Right.
Whereas this is basically LED strips.
Nobody's gonna know the difference.
Yeah.
It looked cool, and really, Rick's a tech too. So if there's any problems with the suit, you could have a guy like Rick go through it,
Yeah.
make sure it's all good, make
So,
sure the solders are good.
My daughter's having a quinceañera in July, and I asked her, "Would you like something like that?" She just looked at me and said, "I guess," meaning yes.
Right.
She didn't say no.
But I don't think it's for her. I think it's for the little kids that are there.
It's for the teenagers too.
I guess so, but I mean, my observation was that the little girl, remember the little girl who kept shutting doors and came back and stole Aaron's little glow stick?
Yeah.
She was fascinated by it. I mean, what was she, 2, maybe?
Yeah.
And she was just like...
And as the DJ portion of it, I tried playing dance music, reggaeton, just kind of, energetic music, because that's what you want. You want to hype it up. And it was pretty hype, I would say. We had some up and downs, but for the most part, we kept it going until Rick was out of there. And then once Rick left, the party just kept on going.
Yeah. It was more of an intermission than anything else. It was a break almost. You expect people to dance for, 5-6 straight hours. That might be a little much to ask, but if you have something like that to break up the evening, it might be kind of nice.
Yeah, and actually we planned it that way so that once he was done, we announced the cake, and, they did that happy birthday song. And
right.
You just got to plan those, because it's not like a wedding where you have all these rituals. And being with COVID, they didn't have like a court. You usually have like a 15 couple court.
Right.
With COVID, they got rid of a lot of the rituals.
Right.
So it was just dancing most.
Pretty
of the
much
night.
straight up dance party. Yeah, and I will say this about the event, off topic. I felt like people behaved themselves pretty well. I did like 3 weddings last summer, and you don't wear a mask when you eat or when you drink. Well, when are you not eating or drinking at a wedding? So people would just take the mask off and not put it back on. But I found that at the Quinceañera, most people still wore the mask even on the dance floor. They were behaving themselves really well, I think.
For me, I had to take it off when I spoke, but then I would leave it off because I'm, mentally you're going on to the next thing.
Right.
As soon as I remember, I'm like, okay, gotta put it back on.
We survived though. It all worked out.
For sure. Yeah, I think I will look at into investing in that suit only because it's the right price. I'm not gonna pay $2,000-$3,000.
Right, get it used. I think it's a good deal.
Like I don't think we're gonna do the stilt thing.
No, I wouldn't do stilts. I don't think you need it.
Yeah.
It was cool just like it was, and we can get teenagers to do this. We don't have to bring in an experienced DJ like Rick every time. But we're all kind of trying to stick together right now. It was nice. You brought all your guys in. That was so cool. A gig where let's get everybody involved, and it really felt good for me just to get back out there again.
Yeah, for sure. I felt like something like this. Right now, they're pretty rare, so it was a bigger event, and you really helped me out because I didn't have to bring any uplighting. You did all that work.
We all had a task,
All the audio system is yours, so.
Yeah, that was kind of funny. It's like, wow, all this stuff is mine. I forgot I had this stuff.
Well, we scratched each other's back.
Well, yeah, it's great. Yeah.
You can't fit any more stuff in here anyway.
No, I can't. I need storage, so you gotta.
So I'm your free storage, and
right.
I use it.
Well, thanks, Art. Thanks for doing the video with us. I think it was a cool concept with Rick out there. We're never going to find anybody as fantastic as Rick to do this again.
Yeah.
But we'll find somebody.
And the cool thing is, Rick tells me every time he comes to me, he learns something new too.
Right.
He's been doing this for what? Over 30 years.
Oh, well over 30 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, you're doing that from Serato?" I'm like, "Yeah. Didn't you know you could do that?"
Yeah.
So he teaches me stuff every time, and he learns something new. I mean, we had the video screens going, and we did slideshows through there. We would, we can flip pictures through there. All kinds of stuff.
Oh, Rick was fascinated by even doing the key tone on the screen.
The projector, because the projector's off to, way on the side of the hall.
Wow, how'd you do that? And I'm like, well, all you got to do is do the key tone is called, right?
Keystone.
Keystone. Yeah, I've done it before too. You just kind of tweak it. Rick had never seen that. There's value in working with other DJs, even if you're experienced, even if you know what you're doing. You're always going to learn something.
The gobo that I used, that's also a projector, and that was an animated gobo, so it was a constant loop.
Right.
I mean, that's all stuff I do on Final Cut Pro and things I used to have to farm out.
Right.
But they're just, if you go get a gobo, it's $150.
Well, whatever it is, you can get a steel gobo, and it's like maybe $100. So you got to order it, wait for it, get it laser cut.
This way, you create your design and you throw in a USB stick, and you're done.
Done. Yeah, that's a cool way to do it. Well, thanks for doing the video with us. We have an opportunity now to get footage out that YouTube yelled at us for putting out earlier because it had copyright stuff in it. So you're seeing stuff you didn't see in the gig log here. We'll see you next time. And Art, thanks again.
All right. Thanks, Brian.
We'll do it again soon.